buddy Arash Amini, coming to you live from skyrisefarms.com. Rough weekend. That was a rough weekend. I hate to be the person to post about how World War III makes me focus more on my business, but what else are you supposed to do? I love how on LinkedIn you're not allowed to talk about geopolitics, but everywhere else in your world you're being inundated with geopolitics. I mean, in America, we're supporting how many wars right now? About to be a third one. And if we if we escape unscathed, which that's impossible, but if we're not con- totally consumed by this latest one, which is bombing the country I was born in, which is an extra layer of annoying. I just know, like, I've already forgiven everybody. I'm a Christian. God came down, we killed him, he resurrected himself to forgive us for killing him, and then he's like, but that's enough. I got to go back to heaven. So I try to get to that place in my heart. You know, my family is safe, so it's easy for me to say. But zooming out, two things. One is, we're going a little crazy working in these office environments. I mean, I'm not. I refuse to. The work in front of me is so important. I have to make this work. There's nobody else focused on what I think is the real problem we have, or will have, or are about to have. And it kind of creates this schizophrenia where we're like, hey, Tim, how's it going? Yeah, Bob, how are you? Oh, yeah, did you catch the game? And we're like, boy, did you see the video on? And it's like, it doesn't matter because the number of videos is so, there's 1,000 horrific videos unleashed upon us every weekend from all corners of the world. And right now, we're seeing, the potential start of World War III. I would argue we're already in World War III. We have, a new theater of combat, and now what's going to happen between Pakistan and India? Hopefully that's remediated. But what about Taiwan and China? There's another flashpoint. And it really, all I can do, the crazier the world gets, the more I feel prone to pouring myself into a solution or something good. You know what I mean? And I never started vertical farming because I was worried about World War III. As a naive 18-year-old, that wasn't even on my radar. Back in the good old days where we're only afraid of climate apocalypse, I was worried about the North Atlantic gyre moving. I bring this up a lot. The North Atlantic gyre is a current off the east coast of America. And for all of you all that don't know this, come on now. There is the thing that drives the global weather patterns are the ocean currents. Where the ocean, I love how these don't even work anymore. I love how Google just stops working. They just refuse to work. It's really impressive. Here's a picture from a textbook. What is a gyre and how does it work? God, I hate the internet sometimes. This is such a bad image. Of course, Google, document the smallest possible. Okay. So it's hard to see what I'm even talking about. Here's a good picture. But basically, as the Earth is heated up disproportionately at the equator, because the angle of the equator to the sun is the smallest, so you have the most photons hitting per square mile. And this, as opposed to them getting spread out as it hits the curvature of the Earth. The equator, the water of the equator gets warm. Warm water rises. As it comes up, it creates movement in front of it and it draws water below it. And the only place in the northern hemisphere where warm water goes north and gets cooled at the tip of the, off the coast of Greenland, there it drops down because now cold water gets more dense. So it drops down and you have a column of water miles and miles deep and wide, dropping down, pushing water below it, pulling water from above it. This creates a conveyor belt effect. And it's this conveyor belt effect that moves tremendous volumes of air with it. Because as you have the water moving north, it's dissipating into the atmosphere as it gets cooler. And then based on the spin of the Earth, that it's not off-gassing, but not precipitation. When water turns into water vapor, sublimation, evaporation, that evaporation gets moved by the Coriolis effect of the Earth, and we have all our weather patterns. Now, if that gyre moves, all the weather moves with it. Here's an example. There's a lot of, you got to call it, Indian Ocean. That's why it's supposed to be Atlantic. Oops. I refuse to spell anymore. All mode. Oh boy. The North Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, AMOC. Heat release to atmosphere occurs at these 2 points so these are actually like multiple currents. The important thing is that off the coast of Greenland, as the temperature, I believed growing up that off the coast of Greenland, you would have global warming, you'd have meltwater from the glaciers, you'd have change in salinity in the ocean, and that would affect where the current, the path of the current, which would therefore then impact all the other weather patterns on the planet, all the precipitation, and overnight we would have farms in the wrong place, either less precipitation or more. It doesn't really matter because plants are so perfectly picked, the agriculture is so focused or narrowly optimized for the climate it's in. You pick the plants for the type of soil you have, the amount of weather, rain, amount of sunshine, right? And then all your practices is just getting more of that per acre that you can, but you can't grow strawberries in a climate that disallows it. You can't grow potatoes in a climate that disallows it. You can grow something else maybe, but you can't, right? And this is like a big deal. That was supposed to be 100 years away in 2005. Estimates were. And that's what I used to be freaked out about. That got me into physics and pushed me through got me into vertical farming and food security. But the technology was just too, it didn't exist. Basically, the technology for vertical farming does not exist right now. Outside of what the hell is this? Vertical farming. I bring this up to show you all the different ways you can vertically farm. I know it's crazy for me to say this, but they're all wrong. You know they're all wrong because, I know they're all wrong for a million reasons, but you can tell they're all wrong because A, they're not in your backyard yet. If someone figured out, if any of these people that got this project financing that was and still today is unavailable to me. I've had to completely reinvent vertical farming into something else. Nobody will fund my salad farm. Are you kidding me? I'm not out of the question. And really, nobody will finance a salad farm ever again, really. But which has made it really easy for me. There's so much capital that if somebody proved the damn point, they would be able to scale nationally. If somebody was able to make vertical farming of salads profitable, there'd be a salad farm in every city in America. Why wouldn't you? The story, the origin, the quality, blah, 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 the price point, if it was profitable. It's not profitable. None of these people can grow salad profitably. And the other thing is, the other way you know it's not profitable is because they keep going bankrupt. There's like one company left called 80 Acres Farms, and they basically licensed a European technology to grow, um, you know, salads. There's no tomatoes being grown, thank you. Infinite Acres is basically the parent company. I don't know what their structure is, but Infinite Acres creates these indoor farms, the actual equipment to grow. And they then license it out. Let's see. Will they show yeah. And this is just way too expensive. The amount of automation they have to use is way too expensive. I mean, look at that. God bless them. They're using forklifts, but you see, all I see is custom welding, custom electrical, which I guess you can't escape, custom vent, like everything is purpose built, which is how obsessive you have to become about the inefficiencies or efficiencies to make this economically viable. And so they have to remove all the human labor as much as they can because it's just too expensive. And then they have to import this equipment and they have to build the facility around the equipment, basically. You can't just open your bay doors and cart this stuff in. And it comes from Europe. So, this is all extremely expensive. And when you're growing salads, AFL, you're not feeding anybody. This is all supposed to be a cash flow opportunity to get to the next more meaningful crops, but it turns out it's too hard, at least the way everybody in the industry picked. Now, I picked pallet farming. I'm the only one that has figured it out, as in to say pallet farming is the only way forward. I'm a big advocate of it now. It's the most important thing. America needs like 100. America needs a vertical farm in every town. We need millions of square feet of vertical farming capacity today, now. There's no more time. And we need a whole ecosystem. There needs to be competitors, and there needs to be, everything needed to provide for everyone involved. There's one company, I am literally setting myself up to start a General Electric style company that can produce this equipment and operate these facilities, but nothing short of that massive scale will suffice. And just growing salads is nothing. There's no calories in a salad. It's an expensive multivitamin. And when you get how much you have to eat to get, and how hard it is to grow. It is a jobs program. People like it. They want to buy it. It supports the farms. It can be profitable if you do it our way, but not any other way. There's just too much equipment here. So now these guys are basically stuck. Like their farms are marginally, I'm assuming, profitable, but they're not profitable enough to like go get debt financing and like just go blow out 10x their scale. They need equipment from Europe, which is too expensive now with tariffs and uncertainty, and then you have to build a facility around the thing, so your project financing costs are off the charts. And with the new, this current economic ecosystem landscape, with the interest rates being as high as they can, forget it. So there's nobody coming for us. There's nobody. There's none of this. This is all fake. I'm sorry, it is. None of this is going to do shit for anybody. The only way to grow indoors is with pallets. It's the only way. Because your OPEX plummets, your CAPEX plummets, your yield per square foot, per cubic foot, you know, optimizes, and your ability to grow cash crops materializes. It's not salads, stupid. It's supplements, it's biopharma ingredients, it's livestock feed, it's everything but salads. Salads is fun. We can grow salads. Don't get me wrong. Who's this guy? I love it. I love vertical farming. I wish it was everywhere. Um, but all of this is just SEO bullshit. None of this is real business. This is all, as Tim Dillon would say, fake business. Look how much light they're using. Look at this. Look at this. This needs to be. Where is RFK Jr.? He needs to start. I am calling for drone strikes. Enough with Iran. Enough with Israel. We need to start drone striking bad vertical farms. Who is this? Nordic Harvest. Are you out of your mind? You're going to put that much frigging HVAC. So they basically took AeroFarm's approach and they replicated it like idiots. I'm sorry, but this is a complete, like, a real farm. They're going to waste their money, okay? Thank you for ruining this market any further. It just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. This is why I am who I am. I am who I am. But to put workers in a scissor lift and raise them up, look how much water is at the feet of that gentleman, presumably gentleman, on the floor, walking on the ground. He's walking through a puddle of water. Because when you can't take the trays up and down, you have to take the plants up and down. When you take the plants up and down, you drip everywhere all the time. It's a nightmare. And then, you know how slow these scissor lifts move? Look at that guy. That poor schmuck in the back row. I can't believe they publicized this photo. They're moving, racking up and down to move the trays in and out of. This is so inefficient, man. This is so inefficient. So this is unfeasible. I'm sorry, there's no way. Look at all this custom racking they got to bring in an army to do. There's no way this can be profitable. It's just it's physically impossible. It's not up to them. It is, man. It's just watching. It's like watching one. It's like, you know what it is? It's like those foggy interstate crashes where it's like a pileup and you just see like the next unsuspecting idiot crashing and you're just yelling and screaming. Nobody listened to me. And so here we are. None of that's going to work though. It's way too expensive. And here we are. It's just getting worse. Our supply chains are just getting more unstable and brittle. If it's not this one, it's going to be Taiwan. I mean, what are we doing? You're telling me the smartest people in the world can't figure out a diplomatic solution. Nothing's going to be achieved by this. Hopefully, I guess certain people's aims will be furthered, but like, you're not changing anyone's minds. Anyway, this is another reason we need a separate and clean agricultural supply chain. We have to start retrofitting old buildings, unused buildings, into indoor farming capacity. I mean, it's now a paramount effort. I can't keep cool anymore. I can't prevent myself from explaining how dire the situation is. If it's not World War III, which God willing, President Trump will be able to navigate us out. I don't care what you think about the guy. You better pray for him so he can weave through this mess. The current supply chain is poisoning us. It's like not good. Forget World War III. Forget climate change. Right now, today, I'm like the only person talking about this. Our infertility rate is plummeting because of plastics. Just yesterday, over the weekend, I found out that Athletic Greens, I hope they sue me. I hope they prove me wrong, has so much lead in it, and they tell you to take it every day, that within a year, just 1 year of supplementing for your filling your nutritional gaps. I love when marketers invent nonsense to repurpose tired phrases. Instead of supplementation, they're filling nutrient gaps. It's just the new language gives your brain an opportunity to think about it without as much baggage. You'll have 3 to 4 times the maximum safe lead level in your blood per the EPA's guidelines, which probably are usually for a lot of these things is way too high anyway. They're like their minimum safety, the FDA's, the maximum BPA you can have in your blood is like way too high. The lead, people say like 0% is there's no amount of safe lead basically you can have in your bloodstream. And if you dose on AG1 here, they show Athletic Greens 1.8 micrograms per gram. You're taking 12 grams per serving. So that's 8.18 micrograms times 12. I think that's about like 2 micrograms per day per serving. So per day, you take that in a week, it's like 300, what was that? You take that for a year, 2 micrograms a day. So you got 720 micrograms. And like the current safety limit is like 175 or something. You know what I mean? It's like 135. It's not good. It's not good. And it's just because these people, no matter how hard they try, they have to get greens from somewhere. And unless they grow it themselves indoors, which technology does not exist to make that easy for any business that isn't in the business of growing crops to do. They're in the business of selling supplements. There's a process in between. They have to buy them. And where do they go buy them? Anywhere they go, there's lead in the soil. Yes, they could probably get organic, whatever, but even then, there's lead there, and that only just increased the price because they have to go through this rigmarole to sell it. It's already an expensive supplement, because the ingredients are the highest quality on the market, more or less. Like, they're up there, and they can't get away from the lead because it's in our soil. It's in our soil because it's coming out of every plane, every boat, every car. It's like every power plant, every manufacturer. It's like everywhere, and it just builds up over time, and the plants absorb it, and then they concentrate it down. They dry it out. And so we get it in our blood when we concentrate. I mean, it's dystopian. And then the other day I go down a rabbit hole. Let's check in an RFK, by the way. I typed in RFK Jr., and he must know somebody at Google. Talking about environmental poisons. This man, if somebody can connect me, it would be the most important thing for this country, for us to start taking indoor farming seriously as a solution to the agricultural supply chain. Because you're not going to get lead out of the supply chain. How are you going to clean the soil that's already there? And that's just one of thousands of chemicals. But the fact that this guy has a picture from like the 90s, when you type in RFK Jr. in Google, someone at Google loves RFK because he looks a little older now. He looks a little older. He still looks good, but he's 70 and he's blasting bench presses. I love it. He's focused on vaccines right now. CDC Vaccine Advisory Committee. He fires them all. Good. Anyone? I am so sick. I don't care who's who. Okay, I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater. This organization, the CDC, and the Health and Human Services, Department of Health and Human Services, and everything under its purview, has led to the most catastrophic increase in disease that in the history of the universe. There has never been more sickness in one point of space and time than there is on the Earth, and especially in America. It is so bad. Everyone's basically infertile, having trouble, needs IVF. We got immune disorders. We got, he's worried about vaccine damaged kids, nerve systems, what are they called? Nervous systems. I'm like, I just found out BPA is a neurotoxin. Like, you're pregnant, you're getting BPA, but every time you touch a receipt, it's like everywhere. It doesn't matter. We have to start treating this stuff seriously. The reason we're all fat and lazy and tired in America and can't have kids and going bald, I'm sure, getting Alzheimer's everywhere and all sorts of cancers, none of this stuff is natural. It's a cocktail of chemicals we live in. Bisphenol A, phthalates, PFAS, glyphosate. I just found out over the weekend we've dumped 15 billion pounds of glyphosate in the. At a certain point, I don't know what else to say except this is a serious emergency. And to jump to our sponsor. So we have a solution for this. If you want to support our vertical farms, in fact, we're probably going to build them wherever the interest in broccoli is the highest, because this is what will fuel our entire endeavor. We found a way to grow sulforaphane ingredients indoors, and it turns out this unlocks its absorbability. Sulforaphane activates your body's proteins that detox your cells. And it's been shown clearly to get rid of anything they look at. It's really good at getting rid of inflammatories, things that don't belong there. Carcinogens as well. Obesogens, specifically BPA, it removes and blocks it while increasing your leptin sensitivity. Leptin is a molecule that is how fat cells produce it, and it's how your brain gauges how much fat is in your body based on the amount of leptin in your blood, right? It doesn't have eyes, it has sensors, and as the blood flows, it picks up what's going on, and it uses that to reverse engineer what's happening in all over the body. And these hormone disruptors, like every pesticide, I can't stress this enough. Every single thing you do in America is poisoning you. All the fucking water, any bottled water, your spandex, if you sweat in stretch you wear, if you eat any flour that's not organic, anything with corn syrup, it goes on and on and on. We're just getting thousands of these chemicals in our body every day. You have 20 pesticides. Every herbicide, pesticide, fungicide, it's like all adding up. And sulforaphane not only ameliorates specifically BPA-induced obesity, which you're getting exposed to enough BPA in America in 2 days to start inducing obesity if your liver was not able to keep up with it. Eventually, you lose the battle because it never ends. And guess what? Next year, there'll be another 1.5 million pounds of BPA manufactured globally. And next year, there'll be more. And next year, there'll be more because our economy has to grow. We got to grow. We got to keep these prices down. I understand, but it cannot be BPA, and nor can any of the replacement be Every replacement, any replacement for BPA has to get banned. BPA has to be banned globally, like today, and its replacement has to be proven, to be safe enough for the volume of use. Or, for fuck's sake, the price has to be priced in. The danger has to be priced into these chemicals, because now chronic disease chronic disease costs America $4 trillion a year. You want to clean up the budget? Clean up the ecology, the food chain, specifically these vectors of water, air, and food, and dermal contact is it's literally bankrupting this country. I mean, we're spending our money unwisely elsewhere, but imagine if you cut that in half. It's just free money back into the pockets of America. And it's like that bad of a problem. It's literally killing us all. It is so heavy to know all this, and yet I feel like the scientist in Don't Look Up. I'm like, this stuff is driving infertility. It has to be. It's known to cause BPA is known to cause fertility issues in both men and women. What are we doing? And sulforaphane is like the only solution to this problem. It cleans this stuff and blocks your body's absorption of it. Experiment with it. If you work out really hard or you're really big, you'll see results. Let me just put it that way. Absolutely insane. Now let's look at some pictures I made on ChatGPT. Okay, this is what keeps me going, folks. This is a fake building, but it's like in the Charlotte, downtown. And just some random office building, imagine, on Trade and Tryon, that is underused. It is, every year it's a little bit more dormant because nobody wants to work in your depressing offices anymore. Sorry, you have to pay us to do work we would never do for free. The more a job pays, the worse it is. The less likely someone would do it for free, right? You don't have to pay cops a ton because people naturally want to protect their neighborhood, their city. You have to pay lawyers a ton because nobody would deal with the law endlessly. It's very dry and boring, right? No one wants to be a doctor. Very few people want to be doctors because it's so hard to learn everything, and so on and so forth. But so the office environment is tanking, and we can come in and just gut a floor and start growing sulforaphane like tomorrow, and we can sell that online to instant. Anything we can grow out of 10,000 square feet, it's a drop in the fucking bucket. This is a $70 billion market, sulforaphane, total addressable market. Many times more than that, actually, because there's multiple uses. We're going to sell it to hardcore gym people, and then the gym community at large, which is 200 million people. And then we're going to go into the medical space with a post-surgery inflammatory control supplement. That'll be like the big jump into med. That's a 50 million surgeries a year in America. Okay, that's just like one app. That's just BMI and surgery inflammation control. There's neurodegeneration. There's chemo enhancing, so on. There's like so many things. But the cool thing is that the thing that gives me so much hope, okay, because I'm running off of fumes right now. I'm kind of at my wit's end because I can't keep this information in anymore. I'm learning more and more every day, and it's becoming unbearable to know the volume of the disaster but also the elegance of a scalable solution, and like not have rapid market adoption. So I'm working my tail off to figure out how to get this into the economy and start up. I call it terraforming millions of square feet of just commercial real estate into these high output vertical farms to create these decentralized, clean supply chains. Yes, to grow supplements, but also to grow livestock feed and baby food and other things. And so this is like a major endeavor. This is not a simple thing, but at its core are the supplements. And what they do is they let us grow fun stuff in the other floors that aren't so profitable, but are incredible for the community, like seafood and salads and teas and baby puree and, shrimp and tilapia. And so, like, there's going to come a time I'm going to get my first building. It's going to be a pilot. It'll be brutal. We'll figure out all the nonsense you always have to figure out when you're, custom retrofit. And but the output will be like salmon burgers and not salmon burgers, shrimp burgers and tilapia tacos and tea stand. Like, we're gonna have ingredients coming out, and naturally what'll happen is you'll have food service businesses propped up, set up shop to just take in the whole tilapia, cut it up and serve it as tacos and capture all that margin right there on the spot. So there's going to be like every neighborhood that's going to get a vertical farm. Let's see, do I have more of them here? It's kind of the same thing. Every vertical farm is going to create a little economy of food stands and retail spots. And, this guy will use it, will turn the tilapia into tacos, but then there'll be another guy that does ceviche, and then another guy that does shrimp burgers, and another guy, right? A tea stand, and then like a Turkish tea stand, and then whatever, right? There's enough variations and enough people to make all these, like a food hall, viable. So that's amazing. I can't wait for that. That's what excites me. And then, of course, each of these farms, not the trash, income, seeds and everything needed to grow them, water and fertilizer and light, electricity and labor, and then out comes all these ingredients. But you retrofit the equipment, and you can also then farm bugs, specifically, definitely starting with red wigglers, worms. So we can, instead of taking in seeds, we can take in food scraps from grocery stores and dumpsters and turn those into red wigglers. And those red wigglers are, guess what? Perfect seafood feed. High protein, high fat, excellent for tilapia. Almost perfect. And then then you have extra red wigglers. These things are key to remediating our soil. Red wigglers basically make toxic heavy metals in soil like inert. They like break them down. I think it's called chelating. They like neutralize them. Isn't that an amazing gift from God? There's other fungi that do the same thing. There's bacteria that do something similar for other contaminants. They're all beneficial stuff. There's stuff you should have in your soil. These are fungi, bacteria, and nitrifying bacteria, and things like red wigglers that healthy soil has in abundance because they make the soil healthy. It's the bacteria that make the nitrogen accessible. It's the worms that make the microminerals accessible. It's the fungi that make the sugars and whatnot accessible to the plant roots, or increase accessibility and decrease toxicity. And so the farms will also naturally produce soil remediator, some sort of mix of bacteria and fungi spores and red wigglers, as well as organic fertilizer. So the fish waste the liquid fish waste is what will be used to make the fertilizer for the greens. Because one floor will always just be greens, and we'll have salads because restaurants and grocery stores love that. We'll have teas and herbs because that's a good high margin product, and then whatever else we want to grow. And then this could extend outdoors into greenhouses too. On the ceiling, I always put a greenhouse because there'll always be a greenhouse involved somewhere. But the solid fish waste, that is way too powerful a fertilizer. Like, it's way too dense for us to use in a little bit of indoor farming space. So you always have to get it out of the system as fast as you can through filtration, mechanical filtration. You let the liquid waste get biologically filtrated into nitrogen fertilizer, but you have to take a little bit of the solid waste. You can break it down into called demineralizing or mineralization, and you can reintroduce that. But the worms basically do that. But you have a ton of fish poop. Okay, people, a lot of fish poop, a lot of worm poop. This stuff is liquid gold for fertilizer. It is super incredible fertilizer. You can even take fish scraps, like the fish themselves that don't get sold, and everything but the fillet, and it can get emulsified into a super potent fertilizer. The kind that's like of legend, the kind the Native Americans gave the Pilgrims, right? It doesn't get any better. Let's see. And we can remediate soil all around each of these facilities, because we just got to get rid of this stuff, and we can hopefully sell it, if not donate it, and we can turn regular traditional soil into clean organic soil. I haven't done the math. I don't know the conversion. I know a lot of fertilizer is going to come out of this system, each fish farm, and there'll be places like every fish farm. How do I say this? There'll be dedicated fish farms and seafood farms using this technology. Eventually, all their waste will be a revenue stream for that owner, because it becomes fertilizer, and and then the worms that you would produce for fish feed, there's excess that becomes soil remediator. So there's like all sorts of interesting ways that this all blends together. This is not the first time I've been involved in something like that. Back in Chicago, I was a tenant at a building called The Plant, which is a old meatpacking facility. They would smoke these meats in these rooms and so on. Turned into, it was called the Pure Foods building, into a indoor food production kind of hub. So entrepreneurs come in there and they grow cheese. They make cheese or grow plants or make bake or blah blah blah. And this was a different model. John Adel, did the impossible basically, but he's a landlord, and these are his tenants. Our model is going to be completely different, where it's all vertically integrated. We're going to be producing everything, and the outputs will be sold by us. So everything indoor, is controlled by us. And it's kind of the heart of the South Side of Chicago. It's a really, really, really beautiful place. And basically, we can't be growing outdoors anymore, or completely. People are trying to sneak in soy and corn and, like pests, mold and fungi. It's not good to release on our crops. it's a national imperative that we move some of our production indoors now. If you want to support us, Brock Lean at Point Botanicals. If you want to follow along, or if you have a building that you would like to retrofit, please reach out through skyrisefarms.com. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Boom, 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 boom. Let my people go.